Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, as we look ahead to Saints' clash against Leeds Rhinos this Sunday at Emerald Headingley. Is it still called Emerald Headingley? I think it is.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Back-to-back games over in Yorkshire. Tariq's would have had double business from us, but we're not allowed to go. Tariq must love us, we're his best advertiser.
Probably.
Do you know what? I can't wait to get back there next season. But anyway, important stuff.
Rugby.
The confidence for me, Kev, has come back after last week. That performance night and day from what we'd seen before lockdown. And it's made me really excited this week, looking at this weekend's fixture.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, isn't it? Playing Leeds, currently top of the table. That's it. You're right. We just saw our social media streams, people commenting, and I think it's changed a lot of fans' kind of opinions. I think they might have been a little bit worried going into the Catalan game. I didn't expect us to brush them aside as easily as that. But you're right. The kind of excitement has come back, and with that, you start getting a little bit of expectation. We
have got a bit of a bipolar fan base, haven't we? There's nothing in between, is there? We're either the worst team ever and sack the coach, or we're going to win the lot. And we're back at we're going to win the lot stage this week.
Well, listen, it's still early days in the season. I know it's a bit truncated, and we're going to start concertinaing all the fixtures up, but it's still early days, isn't it? I mean, we're not out of it, so why not?
Well, as we'll discuss later on, we could go top this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, although it's early in the season, these fixtures now are the most important for me because they are spread out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You want to knock the wins off at this point, get the points on the board right now, because then when the fixtures, as you say, do get a little bit concertinaed later on, that will be the time. Whereas if you've got that little bit of a cushion, you can potentially look at rotating your bodies around a little bit. I think this year, potentially, I don't particularly think it might not matter where you finish in the top four. If crowds aren't allowed back into the stadium before the end of the season, which, let's be honest, none of us know what's going to happen in a minute. But if crowds aren't allowed in, then home advantage is taken out. So really, whether you finish fourth or you finish first, you're not going to gain an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you're just probably more used to your surroundings. It's a bit more familiar, isn't it, if you're going into your own changing rooms, playing on your own pitch that you've been used to, especially if you've been at the club for years and years. But you're right.
If you're allowed to play at home.
Yeah, if you're allowed to play at home. But, well, that's it. It's you're right with regards to fans not being in. I mean, I did enjoy the game at Headingley because we didn't have that band. So I'm going to enjoy this Sundays because we've not got that band.
Okay, you've said it now. They'll add them to the soundtrack.
Probably, yeah.
They'll just get one of the England games from the England football games from 20 years ago and just put that soundtrack over the top, and you wouldn't notice the difference, would you?
No. Well, that's it. Listen, yeah, as I say, you're right with regards to it. For some people, though, it will be. For some people, they do like the familiarity of if they can play at home, going and playing there. So I know next week we're back at the Totally Wicked, aren't we? I'm sure our players are looking forward to that and looking forward to not having to travel across the Pennines to get to a game.
Yeah, it'd be good to see us play next week at home, and then I think we've got the week off for the Cup, and then we move to our second home at Warrington the week after. So at least the travelling will be cut down a little bit. We will go on to squad news for this week, and if I can get it up. Are we up? We're not. Here we go.
There we are.
That better. As expected, no changes to that 21-man squad, Kev.
Yeah, I think that the only one who's missing who you would kind of expect to see around there is Joseph Paulo. Whether I know he's another Marmite character, I think, for some of our more vocal fans on social media, but you would expect to see him in a 21-man squad. He must still be just carrying a bit of a knock.
Acted as ball boy last week.
Yeah, did a great job as well. But that's it. Yeah, there's no real players that you think, well, unless they're turning it up in training, that you think would slot into that if everybody is fit and well.
Obviously, Matty Lees missed out last week. He was precautionarily stood down with a sore throat, but he had his COVID swab. He's come back negative, so he'll play this week. And also
Dom
Peru back. Thanks, Kev.
Right.
He's back. You'd expect both of them to come back into the 17. I was interested to note that man in the picture, James Bentley. I was reading Mike Critchley's interview in the St. Helens Star with Christian Wolff, and there was a little bit of a telling piece in that for me. Christian was saying how outstanding James Bentley's been all season, whether he was playing at hooker or whether he played when he played at centre against Manu in the World Club Challenge game. He said he's been absolutely fantastic, and he said the two players we've missed most when they've been injured this season were Mark Percival and James Bentley, and those aren't the words from a coach of a player he's about to not include in his 17.
Yeah, you'd imagine that he's going to hold his place, and I know he was quoted in the press. I don't know if it was straight after the game where he said players do get a bit of credit. So your likes of Dom Peru, Matty Lees, who are always around the 17, sometimes in the 13, especially for Peru, saying that they get a bit of credit in the bank. So when they're not fit, but when they're back available again, they just come straight back in. But you can see Bentley, whether it is a case of him starting from the bench, him still being in that 17. It then obviously brings up the interesting point of whether he's going to play instead of, say, Aaron Smith, or whether he's going to keep Aaron Smith as a specialist hooker and play Bentley at second row when he comes on, because that's the position that I think he excels at. I think he needs to nail down a position. I think second row's the one for him.
Yeah, for me, missing out this weekend would probably be Joe Batchelor. Not that he did anything wrong last week. He's just probably that's his place in the squad at the moment, just to come in and fill in now and again. I think Kyle Amor will miss out. Not because he's done anything wrong. I just think that's maybe where he is in the pecking order in the forwards at the moment, in the eyes of the coach. Obviously, that is subject to change, but for me, they may be the two to miss out.
Yeah, I think Kyle Moore would be hard done to if he did, because as you say, he didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I thought he had a decent game when he came on. I thought he looked like the Kyle Moore of early Saints days, where he was properly direct and kept his carries up for another 2 or 3 metres after contact, when you think that's him done, that's where he's going to get tackled. Anybody else to go down. I thought he looked well. I'm going to say he looked really good in playing wise. I don't know if I can talk too much with this Barnett, but I'm not sure about the peroxide kind of look.
Yeah, it was a very 1996 Spice Boys look, wasn't it? Liverpool Epic squad.
Yeah, but going back to team selection, it wouldn't surprise me if would it surprise if someone else kind of dropped out if there was a little bit of a niggle and he had people fit, like forwards fit, and a more still ended up in that squad? Like if you've got the likes of, I don't know, Seb Tyre or LMS or someone like that who's got a little bit of a niggle, why risk them at the moment? Yeah. We've got that big time in between games that we don't need. We don't need to push people now. It's later in the season. We need to push people. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that there's a bit of a left field switch where someone might just have a week off just because we can do, and we can rest bodies and try and keep people as fit as possible for when the games all start coming thick and fast towards the back end of the season. Potentially a
James Roby?
I don't think for a Leeds game. I think you possibly look at, say, Hull KR for that, or
maybe in that fixture use maybe Bentley and Smith rotating at hooker.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you'd use it for playing Leeds, who are currently before lockdown were going really, really well, sit top of the table. I don't think you'd rest the likes of James Roby for a game like this. But you might, as I say, if you've got a little knock or a little niggle, you could do it with one of your other forwards.
Okay, so we'll move on to the Leeds squad for this week. If I can pull it up. There we go. Missing for Leeds this week, the big news is Conrad Harrell misses out with a hamstring injury, which is an absolute massive blow for Leeds to lose their star player. And you look at that squad, and on paper, there's no massive standout stars, is there really, at this moment in time? Players who've been done well in their careers, but maybe not excelled as much as they should. The likes of Luke Gale, Tom Briscoe, Richie Marler. They've been good players, but nothing spectacular. The players that I look at when I look at that squad, Kev, and strike fear a little bit, are Ash Handley, who always manages to score bucket loads of tries against us for some reason, and potentially Robert Louis as well. I think it was his debut at Salford against us a couple of years ago. I think Salford beat us 44-10 on the night, absolutely battered us. Robert Louis ran the show, 2 tries, involved in everything. And he's one of those players who, on his day, when he wants to turn it on, can really, really hurt you.
Yeah, I know what point you're trying to make when you say there's no like real, or you say there's no real stars there, because they are playing more as a unit. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a little bit unfair on the likes of Luke Gale, on Cruz Leeman, on Brad Dwyer. All great players. All can like turn it on. They've definitely got something about them because they currently sit top of the league.
Is that their team talk wrote, Kev?
What's that, sorry?
I just wrote their team talk for them.
I think you've just written their team talk for them. That's it. I mean, you can have a look at some of the signings. I bet none of the fans were like over the moon at the signing of the likes of Rhys Evans. But Richard Agar's getting a tune out of him. And it's one of them that he's managing to get him to play to the strengths. And as you saw with the Huddersfield game last week, they don't give up. And they've just got that kind of mentality thing about them that, you know what, you might turn around and say, well, is Tom Briscoe one of the top 5 wingers in the league? Probably not if you count ours, if you count Wiggins, if you Josh Charnley, people like that. But he's up there. He's always been a decent player. He's always been a Super League standard player.
He's been out for a year with an ACL injury, hasn't he? He didn't play last week, but nailed on to come back this week, obviously, with Conrad Harrell being out. He'll make the squad this week. And do you know what? It's one of those, a year out, he's going to come back and score.
Oh, yeah. It's just the way, isn't it?
Cruz Leeman got his big move to Leeds from Huddersfield. He's certainly someone who can hurt us as well.
Yeah, I like both of the hookers, to be fair. I think they've got a good pair there. He's just one of them. He's an exciting player. He's one that you want to watch. Obviously not against us, but that's it. He was really, really good at Huddersfield. And as I say, in this team, it's not like he's gone to a bigger club. With all due respect to Huddersfield, but he's gone to one that has won grand finals and the likes. And he doesn't look out of place there, does he?
Is this a fixture that we should be expecting to get the points of?
Expecting.
If we perform like last week?
If we perform like last week, there's no reason why we can't go over there and get the points. But as I say, it is on Leeds' patch, and I do think that has got not as much as we alluded to earlier, not as much kind of gravitas as when they've got a packed Headingley. But the top of the league, aren't they? And they're eking out winning games. As I say, I've just mentioned the Huddersfield game. That since coming back, they'll be better for that week behind them. As long as we just, and it might sound a bit daft because not a lot rides on it. It's not a final or a semi-final or anything like that. But you've just got to play the occasion. Yeah. And as long as we do that and play what's in front of us, then there's no reason why we can't come away. It's not I wouldn't be turning around thinking, listen, we've got no chance here. Of course we've got a chance.
I think with Leeds, they're a little bit, or they've always been a little bit like kryptonite for us, haven't they?
Yes.
Doesn't matter how well we're playing, things just seem to go wrong there. Other fixtures this weekend then. I was saying earlier, we could go top this weekend. For us to go top this weekend, Kevin, we need to win by 10.
Yep.
Catalan to turn Cass over.
Yep.
And Wakefield to turn Wigan over. Easy.
It's a big ask.
It's a big ask. Will Catalan benefit from having that game last week against Cass side who come in maybe a little bit undercooked?
Well, they'll certainly hope so, but you didn't see much. I know they lost Mickey McAlorum to a head knock, and that kind of pushes them off kilter a little bit. But I didn't see much from him that I think that kind of inspires me. There wasn't like a moment where you thought, hang on, these have got a little bit about them. And if Cass kind of get on a roll against them, Catalan's heads go down. And that's happened time and time and time again.
I think they'll bounce back a little bit this week. I don't think they'll be anywhere near as bad as last week.
Can they be as bad as last week? Because sometimes they just look disinterested. Yeah. They didn't look that organised. And listen, I'm not trying to take anything away from Saints, but if we're going to start looking at Catalan's performance, it was wretched, wasn't
it? Warrington Hull, KR?
Well, you'd expect Warrington to win that one.
No, I'm going Hull KR.
Are you?
Yeah, Warrington have got an absolute awful record of form since the Challenge Cup final last year. It's unbelievably bad. It's like relegation form. They're living off past glories. Hull KR are going to come in and do the job.
I'd stick with Warrington on that one. I think the stronger squad, the lockdown might have done for them what it did for us.
12 hours time, this video could look really shit.
One way or another.
Shoddy, Kev, shoddy. Salford, Hull tomorrow. That could go either way, couldn't it?
I was just about to say it wouldn't surprise me if Hull turned up straight out the blocks, absolutely blasted in a great performance. Alternatively, it wouldn't surprise me if Hull came straight into that, blasted out the blocks, and were absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, new coach Andy Last in charge for that one. Wakefield, Wigan. Wakefield 62-0 again, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then we rounded off. By which point, hopefully, the pitch won't look like a cow patch. League table, just to show, obviously Huddersfield aren't playing this weekend after the withdrawal of Toronto, which means we just need those Wigan and Cass losses and a win for us, and we could be top of the table. Going from 8th to 1st in 7 days would be quite a feat.
It certainly would. I think it just shows kind of how early on we are in the league, doesn't it? Nothing's decided. Well, you turn around and say nothing's decided early in the season, but we're already in August, aren't we? It's usually the Challenge Cup's decided in August.
It's looking rosier again, though, isn't it?
It certainly is,
yeah. Right, I think we've done long enough, Kev. We will be back for the instant fan reaction tomorrow. What tune are you planning for us on that with the guitar?
I might do While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Okay, can't wait. Right. Feast of Rugby this weekend. Have a good one, everyone. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we will catch you for an instant fan reaction, hopefully after a top of the table Saints win. Catch you soon.